If every if everyone could take a seat. If everyone could take a seat, we could get started. Grab your lunch, grab a coffee, some water, and get comfortable. So I'd like to welcome everyone to the 2022 Seniors Kickoff. It's nice that we're actually able to gather together in person rather than through our screens. It was back in 2019, which was the last time we were actually able to come together in person. So it has been a while. So today we have an afternoon full of presentations, but at the same time we also have our exhibitor fair. So feel free to come and go as you please. The washrooms are located just outside this hall to the right. It would be greatly appreciated if during the presentations, just try to keep as quiet as possible. I know everyone's excited to get together and catch up, but just out of respect for our presenters. Hopefully at the end of each presentation, you'll be able to ask questions, sort of depending on our timelines. So we'll let you know. And then in terms of a break, we will have a bit of a break midway so that if you do want to go into the exhibitor hall, go to the washroom, grab a coffee, you'll be able to do that. So I'd like to start off with the city's land acknowledgement. So the city of Hamilton is situated upon the traditional territories of the Erie, Neutral, Huron-Wendat, Haudenosaunee, and Mississaugas. The land is covered by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Belt Covenant, which was an agreement between the Haudenosaunee and Anishinaabe to share and care for the resources around the Great Lakes. We further acknowledge that this land is covered by the Between the Lakes Purchase in 1792 between the Crown and the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. Today, the city of Hamilton is home to many Indigenous people from across Turtle Island, and we recognize that we must do more to learn about the rich history of this land so that we can better understand our roles as residents, neighbors, partners, and caretakers. So now I'd like to introduce Councillor Tom Jackson, who just left the hall, but he's going to come right back in, who's going to say a few words on behalf of himself and the mayor, who unfortunately could not be here today. Councillor Jackson?
Thank you very much, Lisa. It's an honor and privilege for me to be here on behalf of Mayor Eisenberger, City Council, myself, to say welcome, Seniors Month of June kickoff for 2022. Right on. I can't believe that these are real people, Lisa, in this banquet hall. I thought it might be just a bunch of mannequins because of the last 2 years, what we've been through, that we couldn't be with each other. But this is wonderful. I'm so glad this has been revised. And I want to acknowledge there is one particular person who does so much for seniors in her level, at her level of authority and coordination in what she does for the city, at the Seniors Advisory Committee meetings, and everything she does with projects and programs. She is one of our own. She's dynamite. How about a great round of applause for our project manager, Lisa Maychuk. Now, I also want to acknowledge, now we all know that there's a provincial election in the next 48 hours, right? Okay. I'm not getting into any party politics whatsoever. However, I just want to say somebody who's joined us here today who has had a consistent, constant love of seniors. When she was an assistant to a counselor for 10 years at City Hall, the last 10 years has been our Mountain MPP. I just want to thank her for her service to our community. Wish her good luck tomorrow. How about a nice round of applause for Monique Taylor? Monique, welcome. Lastly, ladies and gentlemen, you know what? Seniors today have so many opportunities to participate in life in Hamilton, whatever it might be. And I want to thank the Seniors Advisory Committee chaired by Penelope Petrie. I want to thank the Hamilton Council of Aging with President Lori Letts and their entire board of directors. And of course, the City of Hamilton. Seniors' issues and priorities have been #1 for this term of council, and we've continued to put money towards whatever's important for seniors in our community. And we've just approved the second phase of our age-friendly plan, which means seniors' issues will continue to be top of mind. We are so lucky in Hamilton. We have a great collaboration, great partnership, and wonderful volunteers. To all the seniors of Hamilton, you make up about 25% now of our population. Congratulations. Enjoy this month of June. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Councillor Jackson. So I'd like to introduce our first presentation, which is Retirement Living, Understanding the Benefits. And our two presenters are with Chartwell Retirement Residence. Nicole Mills is the regional director. She's been with Chartwell for 6.5 years. She has worked in the retirement sector for over 10 years now, so knows a lot about retirement living, even though she's not in that phase of her own individual life. As well as Tammy Mansfield. She is a retirement living consultant at the Chartwell Georgian, which is in Dundas. Tammy has a unique history. She started in the funeral directing business in the Toronto area and moved over to the retirement area a few years ago. Tammy is enjoying the role at the Georgian, assisting families with many aspects of preparing for the retirement living journey. So I'd like to hand it over to both Tammy and Nicole to begin the presentation.
So great to see so many people out today. So, go ahead. We have a big difference in height. Where's our little clicker? Okay. Hi, I'm Tammy. And in my role as retirement living consultant at the Georgian, I help seniors in their retirement living journey. And the journey usually starts when a senior is no longer able to maintain their home, or they become disinterested in things like doing the groceries or making dinner, cleaning up. And retirement living allows them to no longer have to look after those responsibilities because we look after those things for you. My name's Nicole. I've been with Chartwell, as Lisa said, for about 6.5 years. I have the pleasure of working with both of the Chartwell retirement residences here in Hamilton, Chartwell Deerview Crossing and Chartwell Georgian, and I'm really looking forward to speaking with you a little bit more about the benefits of retirement living. Canada is an aging population. The 2016, oh sorry, I forgot to change the slide, thank you. The 2016 census statistics revealed that for the first time in our country's history, we now have more seniors than children living in Canada. It is well acknowledged that this number is about to surge as baby boomers enter their retirement years. However, it is worth noting that the majority of those living in retirement homes are over the age of 75. It is estimated that by the year 2036, which is less than 15 years away, there will be more than 5 million seniors living in Canada. As you can see by the chart here, the demand for seniors housing is expected to grow significantly in the coming decades. It is also estimated that the need for seniors housing will more than double in the next 15 years. Okay, so a recent poll of adults aged 45 to 65, 91% of respondents said that caring for a parent or a loved one was a topic of conversation amongst their friends and family. So it's clearly a hot topic that many of us are having a conversation around.
For those of you who are seeing families struggling with similar challenges, we're here today to help you gain a better understanding about retirement living in general, who it's suited to, and how to know if you or your loved one would benefit from it.
A common theme that we see is that as the needs of aging parents increases, the increasing demands on children who already have pretty full plates causes a lot of stress in the family. The commonly used term for this is the sandwich generation. The pressures on the sandwich generation are widely acknowledged, both emotionally and financially, and expected to affect a growing portion of the Canadian population. A friend I see often explains to me her struggles managing her teenagers, getting them to do their homework, bringing them to their sporting events, and at the same time helping her parents deal with their medications, getting them to and from doctor's appointments. And I'm sure many of you are familiar with these struggles. As an aging parent's dependence on family members increases, we often see one child or one family member trying to take on the majority of the responsibility. This often leads to difficulties when it comes to the decision-making process, as the people who are less involved may not see the need for change. As opinions differ on what is best for their parents, they often seek the advice of a third party, such as a financial advisor, physician, or friends.
Okay, so I know that some of you have some questions around the different levels of support that are offered within retirement living, so I'm hoping to answer some of those questions for you today. The first option on the slide is home care, and some seniors consider adding home care supports when it becomes clear that the status quo of living at home is no longer working for them, and the extra support can really help replace or augment family responsibilities. There are a multitude of options for home care available out there. Some are private options and some are government-funded options. It requires a lot of due diligence on the private side, and sometimes there are complex and long intake processes for the government side. So when we talk about the different levels of care offered within retirement living, the brief explanation that I'm going to give you to help clarify how the different levels suit some of your needs. We do encourage families, though, to not get hung up on the classifications of independent living, independent supportive living, assisted living, because sometimes the terms are not used interchangeably when people do not fully understand what the definitions are. So the best thing to do is I encourage you to speak to consultants at the various homes and properties about your specific wants and needs. So we'll start with talking about independent living. Independent living is best suited for seniors who lead active lifestyles and would rather not spend their time maintaining a home. They thrive in a community where they can participate in programs, go on outings that may be of interest to them, and enjoy daily prepared meals. Seniors living in independent living can also enjoy conveniences such as housekeeping, 24-hour security, and peace of mind knowing that there's somebody there and available 24 hours a day in case of an emergency. So the next level is independent supportive living. ISL, as we call it, is best suited for, again, active independent seniors who could benefit from some additional daily support. It can combine all of the benefits of independent living, but also has the option to take advantage to take advantage of personal care services, such as medication administration or support with activities of daily living. Then we have assisted living. So these individuals also enjoy all of the same amenities as independent living and independent supportive living, but they tend to need more support carrying out daily tasks. With additional services, families feel more comfortable that seniors in assisted living are leading an improved quality of life. These services are provided by dedicated and specialized staff. Assisted living communities generally have care staff or nursing staff available and on-site 24 hours a day. The next is memory care. So memory care services are offered to seniors with dementia and living with Alzheimer's disease. Caring staff who are have specialized training to support individuals living with cognitive impairment. Residences offering memory care services have dedicated neighborhoods or floors within a home. They have their own dining rooms, their own activity lounges, and they provide added security and peace of mind. Several retirement communities in Ontario have what's called a dedicated memory living neighborhood. So these are specialized homes within homes that offer features such as outdoor spaces, family-style dining, many resources that are available, such as dementia counselors for families, and specialized management training. The focus on these special neighborhoods is on the social impact of an individual that's living with cognitive impairment and being in a supportive environment with an emphasis on activities of daily living. This is a relatively new service that's expanding throughout the province, and in the future, we will see more residences offering memory living neighborhoods, as a number of them are currently under development. And lastly, we have long-term care. So individuals in long-term care require 24-hour round-the-clock medical support. They have a multitude of complex physical and cognitive needs. This may be some form of dementia or physical needs that require mechanical, such as lifts. So these individuals need nursing support and are likely to require services such as bathing, dressing, and mechanical lifts. They live in a secured environment where supervision and registered nurses are available 24 hours a day.
So I'd like to give a quick overview of retirement living in Ontario. So aside from the different levels of care, the main difference is cost. So the majority of long-term care homes in Ontario are subsidized by the government. Retirement living homes are different in that the senior is responsible for paying for their own lifestyle and care services. However, they are able to choose where they live, and often the wait lists are shorter. As private pay are not regulated by the government, they also tend to spend more money on things like recreation and dining. Costs can vary significantly and depend on a number of different factors, including location, type of accommodation, and service packages. Type of accommodation, I'm referring to the suite size. So for example, you can have a studio, a one bedroom plus den, 2-bedroom. There are even some locations that have townhomes and apartments. Rates in Ontario range from $3,000 to $7,000 a month for those including services, and typically an apartment or townhouse with less services would be around the $2,000 to $5,000 a month. It's important to explore the area that you're interested in living in and find out what they have available. Location is generally one of the biggest determinants in factoring the cost. Lastly, there's a lot of confusion about wait lists. So not all retirement residences have a wait list. It will vary from home to home, depending on the demand in that local area. It's important, like we said earlier, to come to the home that you're interested in specifically and speak to the representative from that home. One thing I try to impress upon seniors and their adult children is that the worst time to make a decision is when you're already in a health crisis. It's really important to plan ahead and explore your options. Take the time and go and see different homes and see what you feel is a comfortable residence for you, and consider your preferences earlier rather than later. One thing that we hear too often is, "I wish I had done this sooner."
Okay, so we do have 2 Chartwell retirement residence locations here in Hamilton. The first one that I'm going to speak about briefly is Chartwell Deerview Crossing. It's located on Rymel and Garth on the corner there. The one thing that makes this home unique is I had mentioned earlier about having a dedicated memory living neighborhood, and this is a service that's offered at Chartwell Deerview Crossing. It operates as a home within a home on the 2nd floor, where we have this specialized trained staff and program for residents living with Alzheimer's and dementia. So that is Chartwell Deerview Crossing. If you have not been, we would highly encourage you to come in and join us and take a tour and learn a little bit more about what it's all about.
So the retirement residence that I look after is the Georgian, and it couldn't be any cuter. You can probably figure out why we call it the Georgian with the style of it. So the Georgian is located in Dundas, and we are a very small home, and I think that's one of the things that sets us apart. I was even talking to somebody here today who's representing a different retirement home, and she said that she sends people to me when people are looking for something smaller. So if you've been to different retirement homes and you find them a little bit overwhelming and the halls are really long, or it's just a little bit much for you, the Georgian is small. Like I said, we've got 67 rooms. Because we are such a small home, we have a really intimate feel at our home. Everybody knows everybody. It's a great environment to live in, and it's a great environment to work in. And our staff really sets us apart. They go above and beyond to look after the residents. And I'm confident that anybody coming to the Georgian would enjoy the experience. And again, I encourage you to come for a tour if it's something that you'd be interested in. It's really important when you're looking for a retirement home. It's a retirement home, so you want it to feel like home to you. So take the time and do your research and tour some places.
Okay, readiness. Is it time? When is it time? So the decision of readiness can be very individual and triggered from many things. It could be something very sudden, such as a huge change in your health, but it also can be something more acute, such as growing concern from your family or loved ones. Sometimes it's a number of these things happening at the same time that can prompt a senior or their family to seek a better solution. Some of the more obvious changes might include a health crisis that ends up in a hospitalization or a medication mix-up, which could lead to further significant health issues. Some of the more common subtle areas of change might be trouble maintaining your home, may be causing you stress, may have a lack of physical ability to do so, or a lack of desire to maintain a home in general. Loss of a driver's license is also something that can lead to a huge change in your lifestyle. Unpaid bills would be another trigger. Growing impact on your family and caregivers, so you're requiring more and more support. Poor eating habits and nutrition would also be something to be considered a trigger. And something I'm sure that many of us have experienced over the last 2 years is just general loneliness and isolation might be a sign that it's time to consider making a change.
I'd like to speak about loneliness in particular. A lot of studies have been released recently confirming the negative impact on health for those living with loneliness and self-isolation. One study in particular out of California linked loneliness to physical illness and cognitive and functional decline. In fact, as a predictor of early death, loneliness has now eclipsed both smoking and obesity. And yet, as a society, we continue to champion living alone as we age as a feat rather than a health risk. We grow up in families, we live with friends during college, we get married, have children. For most of us, living with others is a normal environment. In fact, for many of this generation, the first time they live alone is after the death of a spouse. There is currently a movement towards both independent and interdependent living for seniors. Sorry, I did a lot there without my cue cards. There's currently a movement towards independent and interdependent lifestyle for seniors. In fact, the more social activities a senior participates in, the higher the chances of them reporting positive self-perceived wellness. We actually have a resident with us at the Georgian right now. Her name is Lana. And Lana came to be with us for a 2-week stay. And she said to me during that 2 weeks that she didn't realize how lonely she was at home until she came to the Georgian. And she's had the opportunity while she's with us to share the company of her table mates for 3 meals a day. She gets to enjoy our lifestyle programming, and she is just really enjoying the camaraderie that she has found and the new friends that she has made at the Georgian. And I'm really happy to say that Lana has decided to make her move to the Georgian a permanent stay.
One thing that retirement communities do very well is have fun. These residents on the slide are actual Chartwell residents that Tammy and I are fortunate enough to get to work with every single day. I know and I feel confident that when someone chooses to move into one of our homes, that they're truly making a decision to make their lives better. Living in a retirement residence, you get the benefit of having the private and comfort of your individual suite, but you also have the choice to meet up for a fitness class, attend a program, or just enjoy a glass of wine after dinner with someone who's like-minded. It's all about having choice that really defines the retirement lifestyle these days. I can't tell you how many residents told us that they'd wish they'd made the move sooner, the decision to move sooner, so that they could have enjoyed the activities and dining a lot longer. They make new friends, they take up or even resume hobbies that they've had in the past, and they see people throughout the day, both staff and other residents. And of course, they have the privacy of their suite when they want to have some quiet time.
So what does retirement living entail? With the support of our dedicated staff, we offer a safe and rewarding lifestyle to our residents. The key pillars of service we offer fall under these categories: peace of mind for you and your loved one, staff you can trust, and a lifestyle you can enjoy, dining well with a choice of daily menus with nutritious and healthy options, active living programs and activities designed to meet the 6 pillars of life enrichment and engage residents both physically, spiritually, intellectually, and through vocational pursuits to keep residents healthy, vibrant, inspired, and fulfilled. We call our lifestyle programming Living Well at Chartwell.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, I forgot one. And finally, care and services that we are proud of. We want our residents to live with comfort and dignity and peace of mind. Care and services can be personalized and added as needed. Sorry about that.
Beautiful. So as I said earlier, I'm sure there's a lot of questions out there on retirement living. Chartwell has many tools available on our website. I'd highly encourage you to visit chartwell.com that can help you during the research stage. Whether you choose a Chartwell retirement residence or not, there's a lot of really great information that can help walk you through the process, know what questions to ask, where to look. We've also teamed up with a gerontologist social worker who's helped create some of the content for us. She's created a Getting Started guide or a resource center that can guide you through anywhere from beginning your search on the internet, having the conversation with your loved one, and then right down to selecting and touring the right residence. Even information on planning your move and downsizing, what do you do with all the stuff? There's certainly a lot of information on those topics as well.
So this is Dr. Amy Dupree, and she is, like Nikki said, a gerontological social worker with over 30 years experience working with families during life transitions, with a primary goal of helping seniors live in comfort and fulfilled lives as they age. Dr. Amy prepares, with the help of retirement residences, she creates professional and helpful advice for seniors and their adult children as they go through their retirement journey. Dr. Amy writes a regular blog on our website, and she has also recently launched a video series with her helpful advice. Chartwell.com offers many helpful resources and tools to help you. Can you flip to the next one? Such as a Get Ready checklist and Am I Ready for Retirement Living questionnaire. On behalf of Nikki and myself, I would like to thank you so much for attending our session today. We certainly hope that you've learned a little bit more about retirement living and about Chartwell. And we'll see if we've got time for some questions. If there's any questions, if we don't have time for questions while we're up at the stage, then we'd be happy to answer your questions. We have a table just inside. Does anybody have a question that they're just burning to ask? Awesome. Thank you so much for your attention. We really appreciate it.
So I just want to thank Nicole and Tammy for their fabulous presentation, and they are located towards more the end of the hall, or end area of the second hall, just on the corner as you enter. So if you have any questions, I'm sure they'd be happy to answer them. So now I'd like to make an introduction for our second presentation. So our second presentation is Empowering Dementia-Friendly Communities. And we have 3 speakers who are going to talk about dementia-friendly communities. I would like to introduce Debbie Kihei, Phyllis Fair, and Tracy Gibbs. Maybe what you can do is just say a few words about yourself prior to your presentation. Phyllis?
I guess this should be here, but what I'm going to do is put up there, yes. Welcome to the presentation about Empowering Dementia-Friendly Communities project. I would like to introduce myself, and then my fellow presenters will introduce themselves by name. My name. Hello? That's better. So, welcome to the presentation about empowering dementia-friendly communities. I will introduce myself, and then I'll ask my fellow presenters to introduce themselves. My name is Phyllis Fair. I am a person living with early onset dementia, and I advocate for people living with dementia.
Hello, my name is Debbie Kay. Like Phyllis, I was diagnosed 4 years ago at the age of 58 with young onset Alzheimer's. I have become, with Phyllis's assistance, a lot of assistance, an advocate both locally, nationally, and internationally. And am really happy to be here and that you're even here. Thank you.
Sure, and I'm Tracy Gibbs. I am the project manager for the Empowering Dementia-Friendly Communities project with the Hamilton Council on Aging. And I'm very happy and excited to be here with my colleagues, Debbie and Phyllis, to present on the project to you today.
Shall we help Debbie get on the stage now? Oh. Okay. So 7 out of 10 Canadians know someone living with dementia. When I look at this population in the room, who is sitting in the room, somebody in this room must know somebody with dementia. So I'm going to ask you, if you know anybody living with dementia, raise your hand. Look at that. It's amazing. This just goes to show how prevalent dementia is in our community. And for too long, dementia has been a hidden disease. Now the time has come where we need to take a stand and make a change so that more people living with dementia can be living in their community, can be better supported, and integrated and be seen and included. Over 500,000 people, that's the number of Canadians living with dementia today. And this number is expected to almost double by 2030. One in 5 Canadians have experienced, didn't it change? 1 in 5 Canadians have experienced caring for someone living with dementia, and it is likely that we or someone we know will be affected by dementia. 50% of Canadians do not believe that they could live well with dementia. 46% of Canadians admit they would feel ashamed and embarrassed if they had dementia, and 27% of Canadians believe that their life would be over if they have dementia. We need to change this dynamics. If we all learn about dementia and change our negative perspectives around dementia, we will realize that people living with dementia, that many people living with dementia can still be involved and able to do things. They just may have to do it a little differently. Dementia doesn't rob someone of their dignity. It's other people's reactions to them that does. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of history about dementia here in Canada. In 2014, the Ontario Dementia Advisory Group, a group of 4 people living with dementia in Ontario, joined together to influence policy, planning, practice, and ensure that people who live with dementia have a voice. ODAG members were paramount to the development of the Ontario Dementia Strategy in 2015, and they were present at the Canadian Senate hearings for a National Dementia Strategy. In 2016, they were present in Geneva. Canada reported at the United Nations on their Charter of Rights of People with Disabilities, resulting in dementia and Alzheimer's disease being recognized in name for the first time. Previously, it was hidden under a cognitive impairment. It was there that inspired the beginning of a Canadian National Dementia Strategy. The United Nations says that persons with dementia must have their dignity, beliefs, needs, and privacy respected at all stages of the disease. Governments worldwide are urged to effectively integrate human rights-based approach to the global action against dementia. In 2017, the National Strategy for Alzheimer's Disease and Other Dementias was passed to develop a national dementia strategy, hosted at the national conference, and established a ministerial advisory board. In 2019, Canada released a dementia strategy for Canada and committed to new environment investments of $70 million to ensure meaningful progress on the national objectives of this strategy. This marks a milestone and now joins those in the international community who have already developed the National Dementia Strategy. The 3 nation objectives are highlighted here, and the project that we are here to present on and helps to achieve the 3rd objective, improving quality of life of people living with dementia and their caregivers.
Okay. So the Empowering Dementia-Friendly Communities Hamilton Haldeman project is a community-based initiative led by the Hamilton Council on Aging, people living with dementia, and a multidisciplinary team of partners, funded by the Public Health Agency of Canada's Dementia Community Investment Fund until March 31st, 2023. This federal investment provides an opportunity to engage people living with dementia, their care partners, families, and other stakeholders to develop, implement, and evaluate promising practices, programs, or initiatives that improve quality of life for persons living with dementia. In Hamilton, a mostly urban center, and in Haldeman County, a mostly rural community. A dementia-friendly community is, and there's many definitions for this, but one of the definitions is that it's a place where people living with dementia and their carers are empowered, supported, and included in society, understanding their rights, and recognize their full potential. The collaboration of project partners is essential to the success of this initiative. Here are a list of organizations and partners that are part of the project team that are helping to steward this initiative. People living with dementia have been included since the start of this project and are now leading initiatives within the project and activities and co-lead the overall strategy of the initiative. We're grateful for their significant contributions and for the new project or new partnerships and support that we are developing in the community, from the community.
In 2020, we engaged over 300 people affected by dementia in Hamilton and Haldeman County. This was the onset of COVID during our first stay-at-home order. And we used one-to-one interviews using phone, mostly phone or virtual methods to do one-to-one interviews, and we did online surveys as well. We learned about their experiences in community life, their challenges and barriers, and their ideas and solutions to making Hamilton and Haldeman more dementia-friendly. Some of the information that we collected from the people who participated in the consultation is that 84% of them felt that their community is somewhat, a little bit, or not at all dementia-friendly. When we asked about the importance of this initiative, 97% of participants felt that it is very important or extremely important. Close to 170 people that were consulted requested to stay informed of the project and of future opportunities to be involved. This suggests that there is a need for this project and for change. It also suggests that people with lived experience and living experience care about this work and want to be involved. So from this consultation, there were 5 key themes for what people felt was needed in our communities to become dementia-friendly. The key themes from the consultation are framed as overarching action areas: empowering people living with dementia, challenging stigma and building understanding, fostering social inclusion and participation, creating dementia-inclusive built environments and transportation, and lastly, improving community responsiveness to crisis, for example, COVID-19. So using what we learned during this consultation, we worked collaboratively with the committees and leadership of Hamilton's Age-Friendly Community Plan to integrate 5 dementia-specific recommendations in the 2021 to 2026 Age-Friendly Community Plan, making it one of the first integrated dementia-friendly, age-friendly community plans in Canada. Okay, and lastly, before I leave the stage, we wanted to just ask you to think about what you think about when you think about dementia, a person living with dementia. What do you see when you think about that? And I think that there's a lot of images about what dementia looks like that can be harmful to many individuals who are living with dementia. Really have to live with kind of the stigma around that. And so we're just here kind of to really work towards challenging some of those negative perceptions, knowing that people can live well with dementia and their best life possible throughout the dementia journey. You next.
There we go. Having dementia, I forgot to tell them that I was immobile, so thank you to Michelangelo for getting that extra step, and of course my muscle here. My option was to get the fireman to give me a fireman lift, but that option was not chosen. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about what inspired me to start with this project. And the work that we're doing here really came from ideas from, different parts of the world, particularly in the United Kingdom. We focused our first 2 action strategies to provide opportunities for people who are living with dementia to empower them, to give them an opportunity to continue their life journey prior to diagnosis. We fostered the development of 2 leadership teams. The 2 leadership teams, as Tracy has mentioned, one was in Hamilton, the other one was Haldeman County, one rural and one urban. The membership of these teams came from individuals who all have dementia. There's not a single solitary person that doesn't have dementia on these teams. We do have a facilitator, but that facilitator is there at our offering to help us do what we need to do. Both Phyllis and I have been an active part of supporting development and ongoing activities of the 10 teams. I've witnessed the personal growth, and I think I could speak for everybody. We've witnessed the personal growth of absolutely everybody on the teams, and I think they've even found that they've over-exceeded any expectations. We've watched these teams flourish and grow, and the relationships and trust that has formed has made our 2 teams very, very successful. The Haldeman leadership team has been meeting since March of 2020. They are known now as DICE, and DICE stands for Dementia Inclusive Communities Everywhere. They were, their project was to develop a mural, and in that mural would be area artists from the Haldeman area. They would submit submissions as to what defined and what looked like dementia to them. And what they did was they created a contest. There were 3 winners out of numerous applications. And then what we did was the mural idea is coming to fruition. There were 3 winners. Mural idea is coming to fruition in the fall, so please look forward to that. And the goal of this team, is this the Hamilton team now we're talking about? I think so. There we go. We're looking at this slide, and I want to say there are 2 things on this slide. One is the logo of the heart, and that is the Hamilton team's logo. The other logo, Love, was created by Phyllis over here, who's to the right of me. And Phyllis was looking at it and said, you know, everybody needs love, L-O-V-E. But people with dementia need a different type of love. They need listening, understanding, validating, and empowering. In February of 2022, Dementia Friends in our community launched a newsletter, which can be found at the Hamilton Council on Aging table. It's an amazing newsletter. And it challenges the way people look at living with dementia. It is written by people with dementia, for people with dementia and their families, and for the community. You'll find various things like personal stories, tips, education, personal health care, and maybe a puzzle or 2 to keep your mind active. The team members are all individuals, each experiencing a unique journey with dementia, and that's what you'll find. No 2, we share something, we share dementia, but our life journeys and experiences are totally different, and they continue to be totally different. We're all very, very unique. There are different people, different ages, at different stages. There are 7 that most people look at in dementia, and with different experiences and perspectives. The Dementia newsletter is a quarterly newsletter, and it's distributed both online and in printed copies. And let's see. Okay, one of the things that have come out of this project is the development of an education program for the community so that we can teach them and the community and ourselves that there are a lot of misconceptions. So we open these training workshops, which are free of charge, to individuals, groups, organizations, and businesses. If we want to have a dementia-friendly community, it means everybody. These workshops were co-created with people living with dementia, and we do encourage all of you here, community groups and organizations, to participate in this short, I think it's down to 1 hour now, workshop. And we invite your family and friends to take part in the workshop as well. We were really, really excited this past little while. We launched something called the Faces of Dementia campaign. Videos of the stories of the people who are living with dementia, how they are managing, how successful that they are, and the contributions they are making to the community. Because if anybody would have told me that I had dementia this early in age and that I could no longer work and be put on a disability pension. Wasn't in my plans. I saw the worst of the worst until I joined support groups, the Alzheimer's Society, the Hamilton Council on Aging projects. There's nothing that we can't do. As Phyllis said, we might have to do it a little differently, but we're still able to do things. Just like Mike trying to get up a step. So, oh, I almost forgot. We do have a little video for you. Memory. Not, it's a lot of work. So I'm just going to ask you to watch this video, see what you think, and then Tracy's going to follow that. So I welcome you to watch the video. Oops.
There's as many different faces of dementia as there are people who have it. No one acts the same as the next one.
You're okay one day, you get a diagnosis, and then the next day, you're still you. It doesn't take away who you are.
When I got diagnosed with dementia, I couldn't give up. I really had too much going for me.
When I heard that I have Alzheimer's, I don't want to stop. Once in a while, I feel lost, but I'll figure it out.
I may be sitting here living with Alzheimer's, and you know what? I'm still me.
It was just a accumulation of things that maybe other people didn't notice, but for me it was really like, what is going on?
Every day's important.
And that you're still a person.
We get a diagnosis. We are not the diagnosis. We receive the diagnosis, and we then are able to move on with our life and still live our life by making changes.
It's been 3 years since my diagnosis. 18 months I tried doing it alone. And then I realized what I needed to do is get the support. The best thing that we can do for ourselves is really look at what our own needs are and then pursue getting the appropriate help.
Be who you have been and continue to be. As long as you're able to communicate, don't be hesitant to say that I have Alzheimer's. The approach is to do more, get involved, keep your brain active.
I love sewing, and I didn't stop that. Because if you stop, you're not gonna gain anything. Till my brain's not working, I'm gonna do whatever I can.
It's implementing ways that you can still live your life and do things, but doing it safely. And I think that's the big thing, the big message, that we are still able to live our lives and stay active. Activity helps your brain function. So stay involved and stay social.
Keeping your brain active is a lot of things, I think. Reading, for one thing, continuing to be part of a group, you have to be part of it. You can't just sit back in a group and say nothing.
The home support people, they got me interested in doing things so I didn't have to stay home all the time. Next thing I knew, I was busy just about every day, so I didn't have to worry about being lonely.
I want people to start thinking, if you're a cashier, if you work in a restaurant, wherever you work, if you see someone fiddling with their cards, I just want people to stop and think, well, why is this person acting this way? Is there something I could do? Could I help them?
It's all of us working together on a common goal that is going to change the way people living with dementia are accepted and looked at in the world.
Take a deep breath. You still are who you are, and get the support you need, but the professional support that you need. And if you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask them. And this is you, and you have every right to be you. And so you need to stand up for yourself.
Don't think your life's over, but keep going. Keep doing the things you love.
There may be Alzheimer's in the family, but we're still alive.
Whatever you do, don't give up. There's always somebody that cares.
You have to figure out and you have to not stop anything.
There's lots of things to do yet.
People living with dementia are still human beings. We still can communicate. We can still do things. We may be a little slower to come back with our responses due to the disease process, but we're still able to. Give us the moment we need to show you.
That was a piece of our campaign, and there's lots more to see. People living with dementia locally were very active in co-creating that campaign. All of the messaging came specifically from them, and they continue to champion this initiative. And so please visit the Hamilton Council on Aging website for more information on the project and the work that's happening. And the facesofdementia.ca is our campaign webpage. I don't think we have any time for questions, but we are here all day. So please come and visit us over at the Hamilton Council on Aging exhibition booth if you'd like to have any questions or talk about anything at all. Thank you so much, and a special thank you to my colleagues Debbie and Phyllis for all of their amazing work on the initiative. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Debbie, Phyllis, and Tracy. That was fabulous and very impactful, and continue the work that you're doing, please. So before our next presentation, I just wanted to know if there's a Priscilla Wong in here, because a Winnie Fung is looking for her. So I'm just, okay. Okay. Kelly's on it. Okay, so our next presentation is fire safety for older adults. I'd like to introduce Jordan Bayless, who's a fire inspector with the Hamilton Fire Department in the Fire Prevention Division. Jordan was raised in Hamilton, not too far away from Michelangelo's. He's a graduate of the Fire Protection Engineering Technology program from Seneca College, and he's been working in fire protection and prevention field for over 13 years now. So I'd like to now introduce Jordan to facilitate his presentation.
Thank you, Lisa. Appreciate that. Appreciate that kind introduction. It's so great to see all your guys' faces again. You know, it's been a while. I'm sure I already recognize some of you. Visit me at the booth over there. So today, again, my name is Jordan Bayless, Fire Inspector for the Hamilton Fire Department. And today we're going to be talking to you about fire safety for older adults, senior citizens, We're going to condense this presentation down into a 15, 20-minute window. I promised Lisa I would try to keep it to that 15, 20-minute window. If you do have any questions or anything like that afterwards, our booth is over there. I know I've seen some of your faces already, but come over. We got lots of great information over there, and it's a lot of the same stuff I'm going to be talking about. Smoke alarms, carbon monoxide alarms, fire hazards at home, your everyday home use, cooking in the kitchen, candles, maybe smoking, having that home escape plan, and overall apartment safety as well. So of course, fire safety for older adults, it's very important. As we get older in age, we become a greater risk at being injured or even killed in the event of a fire. Whether that's limited mobility, side effects from medication, it could just be memory, hearing, vision impairments, and sometimes just overall lack of fire safety education training, and that's what I'm here for today, is to give you guys as much information as I can to make sure you guys are prepared in the event of a fire or an emergency at your home. And your home could be an apartment building, condo, single-family dwelling, multiple dwelling, it doesn't matter. A lot of the fire safety education does translate, and through age, doesn't matter. It's all a lot of the same information. Of course, super important, probably the number one thing in my slide I always start with, smoke alarms. Super important. The Ontario Fire Code requires working smoke alarms outside of all floor levels of your home, whether that's an apartment or a single-family dwelling or anything like that. It's not a request, it's not an ask, it is the law. You need to have working smoke alarms outside of all floor areas and your sleeping areas. Having those smoke alarms, of course, in place is great and everything, but you need to maintain them. You need to make sure they're being maintained. Like any other appliance you have at home, you want to make sure you're maintaining it so it works when you want it to, just like your stove or anything else you'd have at home. So there's definitely a lot of different things you can do, some tips to maintain those smoke alarms. If you do have issues with them, if they're beeping or maybe they're doing some kind of chirp or whatever it is, you never want to take them down. You never want to remove the batteries. Even if you burn some toast and it's going off, you don't want to take them down because I've seen it before. It's taken down and it never gets put back up. So it's super important. You never want to disable them. You never want to take them down. If you have any issues, make sure you get them replaced. You get someone to help you. Replace the batteries, or maybe if they're too old. These smoke alarms have a shelf life, just like anything else. There's a manufactured date on the back of those smoke alarms when you purchase them that say when they were manufactured. They only last for 10 years, which people don't necessarily understand. Oh, mine are hardwired, I'm good. Like, they've been there since '84, and it's, they're definitely not good anymore. 10 years goes by quickly, and, making sure that not only that you're, making sure that they're working properly, but just like anything else in your house, it gets dusty, it gets, you should clean it, maybe with a little light vacuuming around the chamber to get rid of those spider webs or, cobwebs that build up in there to make sure that the smoke alarm works properly. Super important stuff, What does your smoke alarm sound like? There's a lot of different brands out there and they'll sound different. But, you don't want to hear your smoke alarm for the first time at 3 a.m. and wonder, what do I do? What is that? Is that my microwave or is that my stove? Like, what's that beeping going on? You should be testing your smoke alarms monthly. Finding out, making sure if they work properly. I know it's maybe a lot to ask, but really it's not, You take your broom handle around and you can go test your smoke alarms with the test button every month. And, they could save your life one day. Having smoke alarms early detection, it's super important. And of course, just as important as smoke alarms, the next slide, of course, I went too far there. I guess maybe this slide's a little bit out of order, that's okay. But we're moving on to carbon monoxide alarms. That's very, very important, just as important as smoke alarms. If you have a fuel-burning appliance in your home, a fireplace, or a detached garage or attached garage, you need a carbon monoxide alarm outside of your sleeping areas. It is, again, Ontario Fire Code, it's the law. You need to have those working carbon monoxide alarms outside the sleeping areas. And of course, as you can see from here, all the different side effects from carbon monoxide. It's colorless, it's odorless, you can't see it, you can't smell it. You have no idea it's there unless you have those carbon monoxide alarms in place. So it's, look at all these symptoms up here. It's a long laundry list of just mild flu-like symptoms, maybe at lower concentrations, but all the way down to loss of consciousness and death in higher concentrations. So carbon monoxide alarms are just as important as smoke alarms, and it is the law, like I said. It's super, super important to have those in place and working properly, making sure they're being maintained. They also do have a shelf life. Carbon monoxide alarms only last maybe 5 to 7 years and before you need to replace them completely. That's super, super important. And of course, what do you do when your carbon monoxide alarm goes off? Is another great question. What do I do? I hear my carbon monoxide alarm going off. What's the difference? Who cares, right? You want to make sure you get out of your home, get everybody out as soon as possible, and get out to a safe space where you can call 911. Making sure you get everybody out early, delays those kind of symptoms that you might get from carbon monoxide. And it's getting out and getting to that safe location, calling 911, letting them know what's happening. My carbon monoxide alarm went off. Maybe it was my smoke alarm went off. We all got out safe, because when we arrive, the first thing we're going to ask is anybody else in the home. That's the first thing we're going to ask. So everyone has to be on the same page, making sure you get all out safely, and you get to that safe meeting location to call 911. is something that you're going to want to make sure you plan with your family members and anybody else you do live with, of course. When you do leave from a carbon monoxide like leak or anything that you might suspect, you know, you want to make sure you keep all the windows and doors closed when you do evacuate the house, because when we show up, we're going to show up with our carbon monoxide detector, and we're going to try to find out what kind of levels of carbon monoxide are in your home. And if all the windows and doors are open, the fresh air can really mess up and change those carbon monoxide levels. So when you do get out of the home, you know, you make sure you close all the windows and doors before you leave, so we can get the proper readings in the home with carbon monoxide levels. Of course, I skipped over the one slide there, but this Alarmed and Ready program we have at Hamilton Fire Department, I've probably said it to you all probably 10 times when you've come over to the booth, but it's a great program we have at Hamilton Fire. If you do own your home and you know you can't physically or financially be able to maintain and test these carbon monoxide and smoke alarms, you know, we'll come out free of charge. You call that number and we'll help you maintain, test, maybe replace batteries, whatever it is you need. We'll help you and we'll assist you. You just call that number, leave your information, and we'll call you back and set up a time to come by. But it's a great program. I encourage you to do it if you do own your own home. If you rent your dwelling unit, apartment, it's the owner of the building's responsibility. It's no longer your responsibility if you are a tenant and you rent that space out. So you have to be bugging your landlord or your superintendent that, hey, is my smoke alarm up to date? Is my carbon monoxide detector up to date? You know, is it required? You know, is it in the right location? All of the good questions you should be asking them. And of course, all the pamphlet information I have over at the table as well is a super helpful information in there if you're not sure. And this is the education I'm trying to give you guys to make sure you know the right questions to ask, you know, your landlord if you're not too sure. Especially if you're a renter for any kind of apartment building or multiple dwelling unit. Yeah, so we're going to move on. Of course, you know, we have our smoke alarms all in place. We have our carbon monoxide alarms all in place. What can we do around the house to make sure we're a little bit safer? And, you know, following these safety tips that I have following up, just in general fire hazards throughout your day-to-day life, you know, could help, you know, maybe delay the fire or stop the fire completely, which would be super helpful. And we're going to start, of course, with the number one thing, kitchen fire safety. We all love to cook and be in the kitchen all, you know, most of the day, really, when you think about it. Breakfast, brunch, lunch, dinner, you know, dessert. There's a lot of reasons to be in the kitchen cooking. And my, you know, wife loves cooking. She loves being in there all the time. You know, so there's a lot of great safety tips you can follow. The number one thing here, never use water on a grease fire. It's on here twice, if you don't notice. It's on the top, it's on the bottom. Never use water on a grease fire. It only just ignites and spreads the fire further. And there is a nice video we have after this slide that shows that, how intense it can. Even just the smallest amount of cup of water can really spread that fire and ignite it even further. When you're cooking, you never want to leave the cooking area when you're cooking. I know it's something you maybe feel like you want to multitask and do laundry, or you want to maybe do this and that while you're cooking, but that's when fires happen, when you least expect it, and when you're not there to do anything about it. So make sure you're always in the cooking area. You never leave it unattended. You know, when you are cooking on the stovetop with large pots or pans, and say one of those pots and pans does catch on fire, you should always have a nice large lid just by the side of the stove, ready to just cover and smother that pot or pan that's on fire, because you can easily just cover it, smother it, and then maybe turn your stove off and just back away, let it cool. If you're still not too sure, you know, you call us if after a fire like that happens, just so we can come and investigate, make sure that the fire's completely out. But that huge lid just extinguished a fire and smothered a fire in 2 seconds without me even having to think about it. I know people's first instinct is the water thing, and that's where you gotta just think, smother it, turn the appliances off, and kind of just back away from the situation and call for 911. You know, keeping combustibles clear of your stove seems like a common thing you would think is a good idea, but people have it all the time, right? You have, you know, maybe you have drapes by your window there right near the stove, right maybe over top of the stove. Maybe you have some plants or any other decorations and stuff like that. I'll keep reiterating that throughout my presentation, keeping combustibles clear and free of the cooking area. Combustibles in general, ideally you want to make sure you keep it clear so that you're not giving the fire more fuel, right? If there is a stovetop fire, you don't want to have stuff right sitting next to it, ready to go to catch on fire, because it'll spread and it'll catch on and carry on so quickly. And again, please do not use water on a grease fire. And this next video will show you how intense it can be very quickly. Maybe technical difficulties, I don't know. It's not good, that's for sure, if the video does play. Nothing? No? Got it? Okay. Well, if I can describe it as best as I could, I guess it would be a small, tiniest little cup of water this firefighter puts on the fire, and it just pushes probably a 4-foot span of fire throughout your kitchen, and it's a terrible scene. And again, please do not use water on a grease fire. It is very, very dangerous, and it could really spread the fire and make things worse real quickly for you. Okay, moving on to just overall smoking safety. If you do smoke, I know sometimes people smoke, it's fine. We do encourage you to smoke outside, of course. Never smoke in bed or on the couch when you're starting to feel a little drowsy or anything like that, because that's exactly when you'll fall asleep. The embers catch a combustible material, say like your bed or couch, and everything will go up. There is another video at the end of the presentation which probably won't work either, but it does show a good it shows a good video of how quickly a fire can progress. Even from the start of that small cigarette ember, 30 seconds, it doubles in size and doubles in size until 3 minutes is up and it's fully involved throughout the entire room. And having those smoke alarms in place and the carbon monoxide alarms in place, smoke alarms will get that early detection of that smoke buildup, so it'll allow you enough time to get out. Of course, when you are smoking, non-combustible ashtrays, again, that word again, non-combustibles, combustibles. You want a non-combustible ashtray. You want a non-combustible container for when you discard your cigarette butts. Make sure that they cool off. Allow them enough time to cool off before you discard them in the garbage. That's a super, super important thing. In the city of Hamilton, we got a lot of apartment buildings, a lot of high-rises, and we see it all the time. Balcony fire starts on a balcony that didn't mean to start the fire. We have people on balconies that smoke, and they throw their cigarette off the edge, and of course, that 6th floor person who just chucked the cigarette butts laughing, but 2 floors down, it just blew back into the balcony, and now the whole balcony's on fire to this apartment building. So never discard your cigarettes poorly like that off of maybe into a garbage can or anything like that where there's tons of combustibles available. Super important stuff. Of course, candle safety is another one. Everyone loves candles. I love candles. I'm a big fan. Like, even this room loves candles, but if you notice that they're all light bulbs, right? So you can still get the aroma with the LED lights and all that kind of stuff. But if you do have candles, you want to make sure it's just like the cooking. You never want to leave it unattended. You don't want to light up a candle in every room and then take off just to get the smell going or whatever. You always want to be around, because that's exactly when the fire is going to happen. Something falls over on it, knocks the candle over. Now the drapes are on fire, now the carpet's on fire, and your whole house or apartment or whatever is gone. So candles, you want a solid tabletop surface, level surface that's not going to easily be knocked over. Keep them clear. Keep the candles clear of combustibles, like I said about the other slides and everything. Combustible materials, again, if you keep that stuff away from the hazard, it'll allow you to not, have it catch on fire or spread further. Keep, obviously, children and pets out of reach of those candles. If you can have them up on a tabletop or farther away, kids and pets even sometimes are drawn to those flames and may knock it over or play with it, might get burned themselves. It's super some helpful tips there for candle safety. Of course, again, it just comes down to some common sense, really. And they sell great little flame-like LED lights now on Amazon, and they're just as good. So something to definitely consider. So of course, you have your smoke alarms, you have your carbon monoxide alarms. You've followed all my nice little safety tips I've given you. Fires can and will still happen. There's one that just happened just yesterday around the corner. It can happen so fast, it can happen so quickly. What's your plan? You need to have a plan, because those fires will happen. You can do everything right, and those fires will still happen. Having that plan with your family members or whoever you live with. Do you have a clear access to your front door or window or balcony? Are there tripping hazards along the way? Like I said, with older adults, as we get older, our mobility issues are changing, right? And it's not as easy to get from point A to point B. So why not make it easy for ourselves? Keep a clear path to your front door, making sure you're not storing too much furniture or anything like that in your path of egress, your exit. It's super important to make sure you're clear of any of those tripping hazards. Of course, have you practiced the plan? Have you even thought about it? Because I don't want to practice my plan at 3 a.m. when my smoke alarm's going off and I haven't thought about it yet. I want to practice this in the middle of the day when it's bright out, and what's going to happen? What am I doing? Where am I going? Am I meeting all my family members out front at a safe place to call 911? Because like I said before, the second that we get on site, the first thing we ask people out front of a burning building is, who's inside? Who's left inside? Who's not accounted for? It's super important thing to have this plan in place so you guys know what to do. It can save your life. It might save your life someday, having that plan ready and having all those smoke alarms and carbon monoxide alarms in the right place and maintained could be a key to saving your life for sure. If you can't exit safely, what's your plan then? Maybe you live in an apartment building and the smoke is in your hallway of your apartment building. Sometimes the question is, stay or go. Like, that's maybe sometimes up to you, depending on your mobility issues, what the situation is. If there's smoke in your hallway, maybe you roll up a wet towel at the base of your door. Those apartment doors do have a fire rating and will stop the fire from coming in. Making sure if you can escape, if you're stuck in your bedroom, you're stuck in your apartment, you're calling 911 right away. Having a phone available. I know we have a lot of cell phones nowadays, not just landlines, but having those cell phones ready to go to call 911 in the event of an emergency, super important. I did kind of go over some of those apartment safety things, but if you do live in an apartment building, especially if it's a high-rise one like this, or even just a multiple-story one, it should have a fire safety plan approved and in place. So do you know what the fire safety plan is, what it even says? It has a lot of great information in there on what you're supposed to do in the event of a fire. If you hear the fire alarm going off, you hear the alarm bells going off, what do you do? If you see fire, what do you do? Do you need assistance in evacuation? Do you have a walker or a wheelchair or a cane that doesn't allow you to maybe use the exit stairs for these large apartment buildings? Because if you do need that extra assistance, the property manager, the landlord, the company who owns the building, they will have an assistance and evacuation list where it will have your name, your apartment number, what's maybe your mobility issue, and in the event of a fire, it's the same thing. We're rolling up. What are we asking? Who's left in the building? Who's where? Who needs help in assistance evacuating from the building? And, again, for the apartment safety, it's similar to home safety. Do you have that clear access to the door? Knowing your exits and knowing your ways out in a fire. These high-rise buildings, in a fire situation, you never use the elevators. That's a terrible idea. They will stop working at some point when the fire alarm's going off and a lot of things are happening. So your stairwells are your only access in those cases, right? So having that information, if you do need assistance in evacuating, and ultimately, if you stay or go, these apartments are built to be fire separated from hallways, from other floor levels. They're built of concrete, non-combustible construction. Whether you stay or go is totally up to you. It's how you're comfortable. If you feel the fire alarm's going off and your hallway's clear of smoke, why not get out safely if you can? And I think, that's our goal for you, is to get out safely. But if you don't feel comfortable, if maybe you do see some smoke in the hallway, bunker down. Those separations from the door to your concrete walls will help delay the spread of fire, and our firefighters will come and assist you in the evacuation if needed be. So I guess we can always try this video. I don't know if it'll probably work or not. If the other one didn't work, it's probably not going to work. But ultimately, it's really just a quick 3-minute video called No Time to Spare. And going off all over through my presentation, there really isn't a whole lot of time to spare. That's why you have to do these planning. You have to maintain your smoke alarms, maintain your carbon monoxide alarms, because there really is no time to spare. In the video, it shows from when the fire ignites, the smoke buildup, when the smoke alarm activates early on, and then it just doubles in size every 30 seconds until 3 minutes in, you wouldn't even recognize the room. It's fully involved, and that's why it's super important to get those early detection alarms in place. So I don't know if you want to try the video again. It's maybe not. No. Okay, that's fine. It is just a good video to show that there really is no time to spare. And of course, I really do thank you guys for your time. And any questions you do have, we're over at the booth until 4 p.m. until the event's over. So at least another hour or so. We really do appreciate your time coming out here, and I really do like seeing your faces again. It's been a while, a couple of years now. If you can't think of questions today, or you don't know what to say, or you can't come see me, you're not too sure what you want to ask, or come grab some pamphlets, come grab some information, and all our information here, fire.prevention@hamilton.ca, and our number there as well. If you do have any questions, maybe a week from now, 2 months from now, a year from now. But thanks so much, guys. Appreciate it. Take care.
Thanks so much, Jordan. Anyway, we're a little bit behind, so we're going to move on to our next presentation. So I would like to introduce Margaret Reed and Kathy Delanevia. They're among the team of Ladies of Royal LePage, who understand the unique real estate needs of those that are 50 plus. We have proudly built a trusted network of service professionals to collaboratively assist mature adults with their real estate needs. We take an A to Z approach from preparing and pricing the property to seeing our clients settled in and enjoying their new home. And all ladies of Royal LePage all have their senior real estate specialist or accredited senior agent designations. Margaret?
All right, thank you everyone for coming today, and I'd like to just want to say welcome to everyone to the 2022 Senior Kickoff event. It is so great to see everyone in person, and as one of the sponsors, I'd like to take a minute or two to introduce ourselves. So there are 4 of the Ladies of Royal LePage, and we are made up of a group of full-time realtors who came together to service the mature adults. On our team, we have Kathy Delanevia, who will be speaking later in the presentation, Lisa Robitaille, and Diana Gallagher, and myself, Margaret Reed. We feel very passionate about helping this demographic with what are our very unique challenges facing us when making these big life-altering decisions in regards to housing. We understand the uncertainty, the fear, the apprehension, and even excitement around these lifestyle changes and the unknown process and perceived vastness of the task. I'm sure you're asking yourself, well, how do we do this? We're here today to give you a bit about the inside scoop on real estate and to share some secrets and give you a little peek behind the curtain. There are several questions that are on everyone's mind as we mature and consider our future moves. Is it the time to downsize? How do I deal with all my belongings? Where do I start? Do my loved ones want any of our treasures, and how and when will they be moving them out of our home? How do I deal with the years of accumulation? Where will I go? What do I want? What can I afford? What is the process, and is this the right time to sell? And how do I navigate the market? We understand and have a plan and a team to help with all the challenges you may be faced with. You are not alone to navigate this process. From A to Z, as Lisa said, we take a concierge approach, whether you need trusted downsizers, move managers, handymen, financial planners, or cleaners. Our one-stop shop has it all. So let's get started and let's talk about a few of the secrets to success. Preparation is key. You're here today because information is power. Whatever your choices are as you age, the more you know, the better decisions can be made. Our best piece of advice is to get advice before you do anything. Whether it be to do renovations, move to retirement, or deciding to age in place, talk to us as we have the trusted team members to assist you with all your needs. We understand your needs and are here to help. Preparation is paramount, and getting all the options well in advance of any decision is one of the secrets to success. So the first step is to find out the true value of your home. By knowing the value, you will be able to realistically consider your options. The ladies can provide a complimentary, real-time market analysis of what is, in many cases, our largest assets. Of course, this will change during your timeline, and that can be updated on a regular basis. So let's talk about your timeline. This is different for everyone. Some may be considering a more immediate change, others a 3 to 5 year plan. And as with all timelines, this may change too. We will help you lay out a roadmap to meet your timeline, outlining a step-by-step process with tangible, manageable goals and targets for success. Depending on your timeline, you may decide to renovate and make those changes you always wanted to. If your timeline is short, it is more important to know what your return on investment may be. Alternatively, if longer and you always wanted to enjoy a beautiful deck or backyard pool, maybe just do it now to enjoy before you decide to make changing in your living arrangements. One of the most important steps for you is preparing your home for sale. Getting advice early and frequently is crucial when deciding what to do and not to do for the preparation of your home, whether it be in the short term or long term. We understand that it is human nature to want your home to look the best it can when presenting to potential buyers. But buyers want different things. Yes, there are those who want a turnkey home with the latest trends and updates throughout. But there are also many who want to make your home their own with their own finishing touches, and they find value in a well-maintained, clean home with what we call good bones. When you hear the term good bones, we are meaning the mechanics of the home. Floors, doors, roofs, heating and cooling systems, plumbing and electrical that are all in good working order. And let's not forget the old doorbell that often breaks and we don't repair. When you're moving, you want it working. Basic home maintenance is very important. One of the best things you can do is to declutter, since the less you have on counters or tables or any flat surface, the larger your home feels. Surprisingly to many, even a tablecloth or runner can make your home feel smaller. A good friend and trusted stager often mentions how you sell is different from how you dwell. We particularly like this as it sums up the moving philosophy nicely. Decluttering can mean anything from removing items, trinkets, and tabletop decor to sorting out cupboards, drawers, and closets. Another trusted downsizer on our team suggests to start in the least used areas of your home. Start in the basement, furnace room, under your bathroom cabinets, linen closets, and other hidden areas. Under your bathroom sinks is often home to those old hotel soaps and creams that are often well beyond their shelf life. Furnace or utility rooms may have old broken items, and remember while sorting to keep to 3 different piles, one for recycling, give away or sell, or the garbage pile. And remember to take the garbage out as soon as it's done, because otherwise we'd like to go back and redo. You may be feeling this is one of the largest tasks, and quite frankly it is. So our advice is to start early and ask for help if needed. So let's take a look at some of the home features and renovations and what they are returning on the investments. Knowing the real-time market and who will likely be your potential buyers is important when considering the move and renovations. There are a few interesting trends to consider that we've noticed more in the last couple of years. We've noticed home offices are providing value. Buyers are appreciating this space to either work from home or for their children to have a quiet place to study. We are also seeing a trend for more living space, both inside and out, so there is a space for everyone to spread out at those times when that's needed. We are also seeing value in rental potential to aid in affordability and separate units for multi-generational families. Painting is one of the most cost-effective ways to spruce up your home as well. But improvements are tricky. New countertops are not always the way to go, depending on your timeline especially. It is important to remember not to over-improve your home. And the old adage of not necessarily wanting to be the best home on the street is still true today. So you can see this slide here, it basically sums it up. And it's why it's so important to get advice from the right professionals before you spend money on any renovations. So I'd now like to call on my colleague, Kathy Delanebbia, to talk about secret number 2.
Hi, everyone. Thank you again, as Marg said, and thanks, Marg. That was great information. So secret number 2, unwrapping the mystery of the current market. One of the biggest influences of the market is the supply and demand ratio. So over the past few years, we have been dealing with an incredible shortage of supply, which has really, really pushed up values. One of the primary reasons for this has been the pandemic. So sellers have not been comfortable putting their homes on the market during COVID, not wanting to have strangers come through their homes. The buyers, on the other hand, have been a little bit more comfortable with it. You know, once we got past that mid-March to May, because they felt that they could control their behavior. They could wear their masks, sanitize, and they knew that they were keeping themselves safe. They also had more disposable income. They had record low interest rates, basically free money, and they had nothing else to shop for except for homes. So what we've seen is an incredible increase in values, really to unhealthy heights. Many people from the GTA were told that they could work from home full time. So this took away the need for commuting. So that brought in a lot of buyers from that area. Why the sudden change, which we saw in around mid-March? There's still a shortage of homes, but it seems that the buyers have kind of pumped the brakes. Part of this is because of the rise in interest rates. Some buyer fatigue, I think. I'm sure you've all heard the stories about the multiple offers. Inflation and the cost of living and the price of gas. Some of those people that have been thinking about making the move because they can work from home are being told by their employers that, you know what, maybe we want you to come back to the office, or at least a hybrid approach and come back part-time. And some people are, maybe the boss hasn't said that yet, but they're concerned that that's coming. So also, the commuters, if they are told that it's a hybrid approach, you're going to come in a couple times a week, with gas prices, that's had a huge influence on them. The other factor is what we hear mostly through the media from all levels of government and all the parties. They've been very, very focused on affordable housing. I actually noticed that the week of the federal budget, I felt that there was a shift in buyer behavior that week. And I accredit it to the fact that there was a lot of talk about cooling measures for the market. One of the problems with the cooling measures is we know that it's not quite that simple. So even if things are put in place to try and cut the red tape for development, you still have a shortage of land, you have a shortage of supplies, building materials, and a shortage of the tradespeople that are going to build these properties. The great resignation that you may have heard is happening. So a lot of people have rethought their life decisions during the pandemic. Maybe they were planning on retiring in 5 to 10 years, and now they're thinking, you know what? I'm doing it now. So these are people that are tradespeople and people in many industries that is creating a shortage of workers. The ban on foreign buyers for 2 years sounds great. However, there's many exceptions to that, and they really only make up about 5% of the buyers. So interest rates, again, probably the biggest factor. You may have heard they went up to today another 50 basis points. They're probably going to go up again about the same in July, and are possibly going to go up again before the end of the year. So the thing that drives the interest rates up and what will happen is basically inflation and whether inflation is brought under control or not. The Bank of Canada has said that it's ready to be more forceful. So they'll do whatever they have to do to bring that inflation rate down. Some of the other factors that affect the market are opening borders and increased immigration, and people need housing. So the peak that was in January, February of this year showed increases that really were unhealthy and unsustainable. So we saw that in mid-March, things began to soften, and we like to call this actually a correction. Typically, housing will double about, sorry, I move my head and hands a lot, so I'm moving off the mic. Typically, housing doubles about every 10 years. So through this pandemic, what we've seen, I actually did a little bit of research, and I looked at 2013 to 2017. So I went 2013 to 2020, pardon me, 7 years. So March 2013 to March 2020, which is when the pandemic began. So that's 7 years, and remember I said that typically 10 years for the price to double. The increase was 80%. So basically in line for that 100% over 10 years, right? Well, here's the one that's going to shock you. I had a look at March 2020 to February 2022, which, as I mentioned, was the peak. The increase, anybody want to take a guess? 72% in 2 years, right? Crazy. So a healthy market is a more balanced market. Returning to something that would be doubling every 10 years would be a good thing that's sustainable and creates a healthy market long term. We don't know what's going to happen for the rest of 2022 and 2023, but we're not predicting a crash for all the reasons that we've just been discussing. We're predicting a correction, hopefully a soft landing. And, you know, most of people here, I'm sure, purchased their home before the pandemic, you're still winning. It is still a very healthy market. And, you know, you can't really look at, you know, what did we miss in January, February of this year. I believe that now we're returned to about December 2021 values. We don't know where it's going to go, but again, for us, we're not predicting a crash. What we do know is that the dream of home ownership is alive and well. It's still what people want. And after the years that you've put into your home ownership, now can be a great time for you to reap the rewards of that investment. Here's a chart that shows some of the increases from April 2021 to April 2022 in some areas here. So I'm not sure how clear that is, and if we've got stats that come out from our association, but they come out about the second or third of the month. So if you are interested in finding out, you know, where we're at up to date, just come to our booth, you know, give us your name, tell us you'd like that information. We can provide that, and as Marg mentioned, of course, we can provide a complimentary evaluation of your home. Even if you're not ready to move, don't worry about that. We're here to help. We want to build a relationship with you long term. You're looking for advice on what to do or not do, what's your property worth, or you need access to some service providers. We're here to help. Also, we have a beautiful basket. I don't think we brought it in. No, we have a beautiful basket at our booth if you'd like to fill out a ballot. And you can ask us some specific questions about your personal home if you like. Now, are there any questions for us now? Anyone? Don't be shy. Yes. Yep. So I've talked to some colleagues that are in BC and different places. Repeat the question. So are we seeing this across North America? So I haven't spoken to anybody in the US about this, and I think that things can be very different there. But as far as across Canada, colleagues that I've spoken to are definitely seeing the same trends. Now you might find that certain areas lesser or greater, so Vancouver and Toronto might be experiencing more commonality compared to maybe some of the smaller areas. Even, I mean, I always say if I had a nickel for every person I know moving to the East Coast, I have a big bag of nickels, right? Yeah, right. So they're having a boom too. Go ahead. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, so this lady's asking where you pay land transfer tax. So it's the buyer that pays land transfer tax on the purchase. There is no land transfer tax on the sale. There is land transfer tax, but it's paid by the buyer. Anyone else? So again, feel free to come by the booth if you want to ask us something specific about your situation or your home. We're happy to help. Thank you very much for your attention. Oh, there was the Q&A.
So we do have one more presentation by Hamilton Police Services, and it's all about frauds and scams. So it is a good one because today there are more and more frauds and scams going on, and a lot of older adults are targets. So I would definitely recommend. We're just waiting for our senior support officer to come into the hall. So I think maybe Kelly, do you want to grab the door prize box, and we'll do a few door prizes. And when you do leave, we do have some extra snack or lunch bags. So if you'd like to take one, there's a few left. Okay. So we'll wait till Kelly gets back in. And did you mention, Margaret and Kathy, did you mention that if anyone has any questions, they could visit your booth? Okay, great, great. Oh. So we'll wait for Kelly. You know what I'm thinking though. We need to holler in the other hall for others to come in, and right. Oh no, she's in. No, we'll do. We'll let Andrea do her. I'll introduce her, and then you and I will go in there and bring people in. Okay. Yep. Okay, change of plans. So, to make it fair, we do have to welcome others to come in for the draw. But in the meantime, we're going to have our final presentation. Constable Andrea Mclaughlin, who's a senior support officer with Hamilton Police Services, is here to present on, as I mentioned earlier, frauds and scams. So I would like to invite Constable Mclaughlin to come up and take it away.
No, you can probably. There's the clicker. And there's the clicker. So, okay. So, I didn't think to bring. No, that's good. No, I meant to bring something so I'm not looking at the screen, but, it's been a crazy day. I didn't bring the backup. Yeah, I'm okay. I should be good. Good afternoon, everybody. How are we today? We've had We've had a really good turnout here. It's been a few years since we've been here, and it's just so nice to see people actually in person, especially Marge right at the back there, my #1 fan there. So thank you for coming and staying to listen to me. That's awesome. So as I said, my name's Andrea Mclaughlin. I'm the Senior Support Officer, or one of 3 Senior Support Officers with the Hamilton Police Service. I work out of the downtown area, so like everything from Sherman out to Westdale, Mountain to the Bay. That's kind of the area that I cover. Hamilton Police Service, I think, services its seniors or its older adults very well. We have 3 different stations, Central, Mountain, East End. Each one has a Senior Support Officer like myself. However, if you are a senior or an older person and you need attention from the police immediately, where you're going to call 911, or you can call our administrative number and ask to see an officer. And most likely it won't be me, because those are what we call calls for service, where you call and we respond with service. Because there's only one of me in Central, and I only work Monday to Friday, 8 to 4. So you will have our fabulous uniformed patrol officers attend to where you are. They will help you out as much as they can. And if there's more to be done, then what they do is they send me the reports, and then I follow up later. So that's part of what I do. Other parts of what I do is I get calls from people like yourself who need some advice or say, hey, I have a problem, can you help me with it? And I will do my best. We also, we have our crimes against, I get calls from all kinds of area, like people that are like here today, like Catholic Family Services and the VON and the Alzheimer's Society and City Housing and the LIN, or the HCCSS, or they're now known, with all kinds of problems that we help them out with. And then we also have our Crimes Against Seniors unit, so they're like the detectives, they're like the plainclothes people that go out and they take care of like the bigger things. So Uniform Patrol takes care of the immediate things. I take care of like the middle of the road stuff, and our Crimes Against Seniors unit, they take care of the bigger stuff. So a lot of the things that we deal with, I'm just going to I want to talk to one of the major things we deal with here today, and back this one. Is it this one? Nope. Whoa! I'm getting ahead of myself here. There we go. Is frauds and scams, because they are running rampant right now. I am sure if I ask for a hands up to everyone who's gotten one of those phone calls, it's not so much, have you gotten a scam phone call? It's, did you get your scam phone call today? I get them on my phone. I get them in on my text messages and cell phones and emails, and they're running rampant. So I just wanted to go over a few of them, because unfortunately, these people who run these scams are very, very good at what they do and convince people, normal people, very intelligent people, that there's a situation going on that needs immediate attention, and that you're going to lose some money over it. And people think afterwards, like, oh my God, how did I fall for that? And it's because the people that are calling you are very, very good at what they do. So frauds and scams. So just to go over the difference between a fraud and a scam. Here, let me just take this down here. Sorry, I didn't bring my laptop. It was such a busy day today, I ran out of the station to be here and forgot a couple things. So a fraud is a wrongful or criminal deception intended to result in financial or personal gain for another person, and a scam is kind of like a dishonest swindle. So a fraud is more targeted and intentional, and a scam is kind of like throwing out that fishing net and seeing what you can gather from it. There are offenses in the Criminal Code of Canada, and everyone commits an offense who, by deceit, falsehood, or other fraudulent means, acts as a reasonable person would consider be dishonest, defrauds the public or any person of property, money, or valuable security. So what's the difference? A fraud is a broader category of wrongdoing than a scam, and a scam is generally a more minor offense than a fraud, which is both considered very serious. So most of the phone calls that you get where they're saying, hey, you know what, there's a problem and, can we get your credit card information or could you log on to your banking for me? They're more of a scam. Being specifically targeted is more of a fraud. And then there's also theft. Theft versus fraud. So theft is taking something by force or stealth versus taking something by misrepresentation. So if somebody calls you up and says, I'm so-and-so, I want to sell you this product, can you give me your credit card information? You give it, then, that's more of a fraud. A theft is like they're specifically taking something from you. Okay? There's a knowledge on the part of the accused that they were misrepresenting the facts. And the misrepresentation was made purposely with the intent of fooling the victim. So that's more of a fraud. The victim believes the misrepresentation and relied upon it. So they believed that, when you told me that you're going to sell me this, this air conditioning unit, and it's going to save me money because I'm only going to pay $49.99 a month, but then in the end, you're paying like 49% interest and a whole lot more money you're giving your money to a really good cause, but that's not where the money is going. That's more of a misrepresentation. And the victim suffered damages as a result of that misrepresentation, and usually those damages are monetary or financial in nature. Things to look for. Number one is urgency. There is a problem that you did not know was occurring before you answered that phone, and it needs to be dealt with immediately. Number one big red flag. Urgency, there's a problem, it has to be dealt with immediately, or you're going to be in trouble, or you're going to have to suffer the consequences, or they are not going to be able to help you past today with the consequences. I got a phone call yesterday from Visa telling me that I'm such a great customer and I pay my bill on time all the time. So they want to give me 0% interest for the next 6 months, but I had to respond immediately, or they weren't, or the offer was not going to be valid anymore. Really, Visa is, first of all, I don't have a Visa. I have a MasterCard. And second, you're telling me that they're giving me 0% interest? So if it's too good to be true, it's too good to be true. Not addressing you by name. They don't call you and say, hey, Andrea, this is Visa calling. You know what? We want to help you out with your interest on your credit card. So they won't mention you, they won't address you by name. Or if they do, they really will totally mispronounce your last name. Because if they knew you, then they'll know how to pronounce your last name, right? If they're being aggressive when you ask questions. I've had the phone call where there was a problem with my Visa card. Somebody purchased an Amazon gift card on my Visa card, and they've caught that issue, and they want to reimburse me the money that my card was just defrauded. And I said, okay, well then you know what? You tell me my credit card number. And they're like, no. This is a taped line. People are listening, so we can't provide that information. You need to provide that to us. Well, you're calling me, buddy. You tell me what my credit card number is that there's the problem with. And then you usually get the click after that, because once you start arguing with them, they don't want to talk to you anymore. Unknown phone numbers or agency names. So please be very careful. A lot of people I talk to say, if it's unknown caller on my phone, I don't answer it. You know what? Good for you. That's awesome. You can manipulate call display. My sister works for Cogeco, and after she got her job there, she called me, and on my call display it said, it's me, Susan. And I'm like, because usually it comes up last name, first name, or whatever, and I'm like, how did you do that? And she said, anybody can do that. You can manipulate anything. Because we have had people call the police service that will tell us that the reason they answered the phone is because it came up Hamilton Police. So be careful. If you do get a phone call from Hamilton Police for an issue that you had no idea was an issue, was a problem, they're very aggressive with you, and they tell you that they're working for like a special section, and they can't give you their name, and they can't give you the badge number, and you can't call them because it's really secret squirrel, and if they tell you that, they got to kill you, right? So be very careful. Any police officer that calls you will give you their name, will give you their badge number, and Hamilton Police has 3-digit badge numbers, like mine, because I'm really old. I've been here a really long time. And they have 4-digit badge numbers. Okay, usually starting with the 1. I don't think we're up to 2s yet. So if you get a badge number that starts like, it's a 4-digit or 5-digit number that starts with like 3 or above, you know that's fake. Okay, and they will always give you their phone number, and they will always give you their name, their badge number, and their extension number. And our extension, all our phone numbers start with either 546 or 540. 546 is most prevalent. They ran out of the 546 numbers, and we had to resort to 540. And you know what? If you're not sure, there's absolutely no problem whatsoever with you asking who they are, hanging up, and then looking up the police, our regular phone number of 905-546-4925, and calling us back and saying, can I speak to Officer so-and-so? Call the regular number and then ask to speak to them. Don't call the extension they give you, because that goes straight to the desk. Like my extension number is 5351, but you can call 540-5351. It goes straight to my desk. So if you want to go through a check and balance of our call system, don't hesitate whatsoever to call and ask to speak to that officer. Okay? Spelling and grammar errors. So I had a lady who was being scammed. She met somebody on the internet, and she told them about a bad experience that she had. And they said, well, you know what? I know of an FBI agency in the United States, because the gentleman who had scammed her was apparently American. And he said, you know what? So she's online with this person, and they said, hey, I know of an FBI agent who, they work in the frauds and scams department, and they will get you your money back. So he says, I'll put you in connection with this guy. So then she gets this email on FBI letterhead, because it's not that hard to fake. But the email read, Dear Miss Smith, I am agent with CIA. I investigate scam. I can investigate you scam and get you money back. However, investigation will cost $700. Does that sound like a university-educated FBI or CIA agent to you? So just be careful. Like, read the grammar. Look at the sentence structure. And that's a big tip-off as to, where it's coming from. Shipping and handling fees. I've dealt with a few romance scams where what happens is you will meet somebody online. They are either American or Canadian by descent, yet they are currently in another country working, usually some security. They're a doctor somewhere, like a high-profile job that they can't give you details of where they are because it's too top secret. Yeah, they can converse with you back and forth either on your different apps or on Facebook or on the internet, but they will give you pictures, yet they will never ever talk to you live because there's too much going on. They can't risk talking to you live, and what happens is they are in love with you. After being online for just a very short time, they are madly in love with you, and they are quitting their job, and they're coming to Canada, and they are going to sweep you off your feet, and you're going to live happily ever after with them. But wherever they're working for is now really annoyed that they're leaving with such short notice to come and be with you. So they either are withholding their pay, or because they're in a foreign country, they don't have access to their bank accounts, so they now need you to send them money so they can get home into your loving arms. Or they have all of their assets tied up, and they now want to send that to you, so you need to send them your banking information, and they will deposit all this money in your account. But they need to verify your account, and that's going to cost money. there needs to be a broker that they need to hire as a go-between to get all this done, and you're going to have to pay them. They have a box of gold bars that they want to mail to you, and you now have to pay shipping. Oh, and now it's not just the shipping and the handling, you have to pay customs. Oh, the package needs to be certified, so now you need to pay for the certification, and they'll send you a certificate, a really nice-looking, internet-drawn certificate, verifying the contents of this package. And then you need to send them money for this to verify the package, and a year later, you spent 10 grand on this package that you haven't gotten yet, because you're madly in love with this person, you believe that they're coming. Asking for gift cards, Bitcoin, or wire transfers for payment. How many people here have ever sent a wire transfer through, like, Western Union or Canada Post or anything in their entire life? So why is it when someone you have never met on the internet, you've only met them through the internet, requires a payment and wants you to engage in an activity you've never engaged in before in your life? Anybody know what Bitcoin is? Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency. You can go to a bank machine, they'll send you, that little funky looking QR code and say, scan this into the machine, put your money in, and then your money goes in and it gets sent off to an account. Those accounts are so hard to trace, and most of them are well out of the country. So if you put money into a Bitcoin machine, I didn't even know what Bitcoin was till a couple of years ago before I took over this job. So if you've never deposited money into Bitcoin, why are you going to start doing that for somebody you don't really know or never met in person? Okay. How many of you have ever gone out and bought an iTunes card or a Google Play card? So why are you going out buying something to pay someone something off? So just think, I'm engaging in these activities that normally I wouldn't. So whoa, why am I kind of doing that? So they want gift cards because gift cards in North America, you have access to a certain amount of product. Over in Asia, they don't really have the same, they can't access the same things that they can with Asian gift cards, or in Europe, or it's usually, usually Europe or Asia that want them. So what they do is they want you to purchase one here, and then you scratch off the little thing on the back and you give them all the numbers. They don't want the physical card, they just want the numbers off the card so that they can sell those numbers and get like 3 to 5 times the value for it overseas. So that's why they want a gift card, because they're more valuable overseas than they are here. Especially when they want like $1,000 in gift cards. Like, how many times have you gone to Fortino's or Shoppers Drug Mart and bought $1,000 worth of gift cards? So if somebody wants you to do that, you got to really think, wait a minute here, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Unsolicited phone calls claiming to be banking or federal institutions. Okay. Hi, this is the Bank of Montreal calling. There's there's unusual activity on your account. Are you at home in front of your computer? Why don't you log on, and we're going to go over your the issue. So the one with this right now is more Visa. Of the one I kind of mentioned before, of Visa's calling me because somebody made a purchase on my Visa card and they want to reimburse me the money. Am I sitting in front of my computer? I responded to one of these calls, got the phone number, called the phone number from my office with my Hamilton Police call display on it. Nobody answered. They called me back 20 minutes later. Yes, you have an issue with your Visa card. Are you in front of your computer? Hi, this is Constable McLaughlin from the Hamilton Police Service that you're speaking to. I'm investigating a fraud, and I think that you've defrauded somebody. Who is it that I'm speaking to? Are you in front of your computer? We want to reimburse you money. Is so-and-so there? Because I was given the name of somebody. Like, is Mr. Smith there? Mr. Smith comes on the line. Are you sitting in front of your computer? Buddy, you're talking to a police officer. I'm investigating a fraud that started from this number. Yes, but are you sitting in front of your computer? Finally, they got frustrated with me and hung up. Okay, so that's it. It's just like, and that scam's going on a little very prevalently right now. What's the next one? Grandparent scam. This is the other biggie. I was so excited. We actually arrested somebody for this a little while ago in Stony Creek. Another one up in Ancaster. So the grandparent scam is you will get a phone call from either somebody claiming to be a lawyer or a police officer. A loved one has been involved in usually an arrest or like a car accident. They were either at fault for a car accident or they were arrested for impaired driving, where they ended up hitting someone else and injuring them. So they've either hit like a lady who was pregnant and had to be taken to the hospital, or they hit somebody else who was a visitor to the country that they now need to leave the country, but they can't leave the country until the damages to the car are settled by the car rental agency. So I don't know any car rental agencies there who can deny me leaving the country, but that's what they say. These people can't leave the country until the issues with the car are settled. So now, if they can't leave the country tonight, you're going to have to pay for their airplane tickets, their hotel, their food, all that stuff until the car fixing the car has been settled. Okay, so then, and that person, so your loved one is now under arrest, and you can't speak to them because they're in jail. And then they will start asking you questions and getting you to talk, because as I said, they're very good at what they do. So they'll get you to talk. So it's your grandson. Oh, is this Bobby? Yes, this is Bobby. And now you're thinking, oh my God, it is Bobby, because how did they know it was Bobby? They will ask you questions and then refeed that information back to you when you don't kind of realize that you've given it to them. So it makes it sound like they knew a lot about you. Or they're getting all your information from an obituary that was in the paper, so they know that Bobby is your son. Or they go on Facebook and they get information. A lot of the calls, though, that come in that are scam-related calls are random calls. There's a computer that picks phone numbers, that dials them, and the phone number rings, and as soon as somebody picks it up, then that gets transferred to someone sitting at a desk who's going to talk to you. So they have no idea really who you are or where you're from. And it's totally random. So you don't have to worry about being targeted. The only way to solve this crisis situation is by forking over some money. They want money from you. And usually they will ask you for an amount less than $10,000, because once you go to the bank and take out $10,000, that information goes to the government and they kind of start asking questions. So they want everything under the radar, so it's usually even around $9,000. And they will call you incessantly. So are you going to get the money? How are you going to get the money? When are you going to get the money? We're going to send someone to your house to pick up the money. Oh, you're still going to get the money? An hour later, we just want to make sure everything's okay and that you're still on board with us and that you're going to get that money, and we're going to send someone to your house. And what time are we doing that? And call after call after call after call until you go to the bank. Because, I mean, a lot of people don't have like 10 grand sitting in an account, so you have to make some arrangements at the bank to physically get your hands on that much money. Or the bank just doesn't. Like the last time I needed 10 grand to buy a car that I wanted to pay cash for, it took me 3 banks to get that much money. So it may take you a little while to get that money. They get you excited to hinder your decision-making capabilities. So they get you all upset. They tell you that all these horrible things are going to happen to your loved one. They're going to be in jail and they're going to hate it in jail. And once they do get released, you can't speak to them about this. Because if it gets to court and the judge finds out that you spoke about this, it's going to be viewed as coercion, and that's going to work against your loved one. So even though they may show up to your house on a normal visit tomorrow or the next day, you cannot say anything to them about this. And people will not do that. Or thank God sometimes they will, and then that's when the loved one calls us and we get involved. The guy that we arrested went to the house to pick up the money, and we ended up grabbing him. So that was so awesome. He was dropped off in a car, and we ended up, when he got released from custody, we followed him, and he went back to the apartment where all the bad guys were, and so we got a couple of more too, so that was awesome. So how to protect yourself. Don't be afraid to say no. I know that you are just all sweet people out there. You are. You're so nice. You're so great. But you know what? Who is this person on the other end of the phone? Say no, or just hang up. What are you going to do? Offend a scammer? Who cares? That's like a triumph of the day. It makes you feel good, probably. Do your research. If someone calls you up and wants to sell you something, or has an offer for you that sounds pretty good, you know what? Don't take them at their word. If you need work done on your house, if you need a service, You research that service and you pick somebody. You go to them, don't let them come to you. Okay? Do ask for information in writing. I mean, there's plenty of times we've talked to people who have said, yeah, you know what, I gave them my credit card number, I made that purchase, but they have absolutely nothing for us to go on because there's no actual documentation. Don't give out your personal information. If you have never met that person, or you don't know who that person is, or you didn't verify who that person is a stranger to you on the phone. Why are you giving them your personal information? Who are they really? And what are they going to do with that? How do you know who it is you're talking to? Because if someone calls you up and makes you an offer or gives you an urgent situation, I will guarantee you that they are a scammer. Okay? If you don't know who they are, don't give them any information. Find out who they are, take down their information, and then try to call back that business, like your bank or the police or whatever, and try to verify who they are. Because a lot of times you'll find out that, A, they won't give you that information because obviously they are who they say they are. Or you will call back and say, hey, Bank of Montreal, somebody called me today. And they'll be like, we have no idea what you're talking about. Okay? Do keep your social media account private. There are people out there who have 1,500, 2,000 friends on Facebook. I'm sorry, I don't know if I've had 2,000 friends my entire life. I certainly don't have that many now. So why are you allowing all these people you really don't know into your accounts? Because these people that are coming in just want to find out information about you for their own advantage. So be, very careful who you befriend, and be very careful what you put on Facebook. I personally have a Facebook account because of work, and I made one up just to learn about Facebook. But I have never posted a personal thing about me on Facebook. Because nobody knows that. If I want to find out what my family's doing, I'll call them. I'm just, as a police officer, I'm very pessimistic, and I don't want anybody out there, I don't want somebody that I arrested last week to find me on Facebook. But for your own selves, just be careful about what personal information you're giving out. Hey, are you posting your vacation pictures from Hawaii? Hey, here I am in Hawaii. Look at my great cocktail that I'm having. Isn't that awesome? Well, that's great, because now I know you're not home. And guess what? That other picture when you got your new car, and I got the picture of your house with your house number on it, that's awesome. And then when you're posting that you're in, I'm in the Westdale neighborhood, or I'm part of the Westdale Neighborhood Association. Okay, so now I know you live in Westdale. I know what your house number is, and I know you're away on vacation. Just simple things like that. There's just so much information out there that people can peg together, and that kind of can put you at risk. Don't use links provided in emails or pop-ups because you have absolutely no idea. I had one gentleman call me because he was on a Costco website. Hey man, I have a membership at Costco, love Costco. He's on the Costco website, and there's a pop-up for free makeup. The only thing you have to do is pay the shipping. He thought, what, my wife would probably like that. So he signs up, puts in his credit card to pay for the shipping. Does he get makeup sent to him? Sure he does. Yeah, you know what, he does. And then next time he checks his credit card, he's got withdrawals on his credit card from 5 different companies over in Ireland that he has no idea about. And that's what happens. Was he charged the shipping? Yeah, so that's part of what the legitimacy of it is. Well, you know what, we did send you makeup. And we did charge you shipping for that, but did you read the fine print that says we're not going to ship you something every month and charge you for it? Did you realize that part of it? So these free things or the pop-ups that come up, be very, very careful. So I ended up calling his credit card company, and we kind of sorted things out. But the problem is, and that's another thing, your statements, your banking statements, your credit card statements, 100%. I know it's kind of like a pain in the neck to get them in the mail because you really don't want to know what your balance is. Always, always look at them for unnecessary or charges that you didn't do, that they may not catch. My son, I don't know how, some woman in Montreal got a hold of his credit card number, and he had charge after charge after charge after charge. It was amazing. And I called a few of the places that she made purchases at, and I found out exactly who she was. But you need to, because that is on your credit card, and your some of the like if you call back to get like your money back saying, hey, that wasn't me that made the purchase, you know, some will reimburse you, some won't. So, but you have to be on it as quick as you can to kind of like stem the flow and make the big problem just a little problem. So always, always, always check your credit card, your statements. And if you have a loved one who helps you with your banking, power of attorney, that's a whole other presentation, who doesn't allow you access, who kind of takes care of your banking for you, doesn't allow you access to your statements, big red flag. Another big red flag. What are they doing in your accounts? They're your son, they're your daughter. Can you trust them? Oh, you think so. But anybody who helps you take care of your banking that doesn't allow you to look at your statements, big red flag. As I said, that's in a whole other presentation. Be aware of upfront fees. Like you got to pay now and you'll get get things later. Kind of a little hanky. And do verify phone calls and companies. So if there is something that you are interested in, like if you really want your ducts cleaned, then you know what? Go to the phone book. Oh my God, I'm dating myself now. You know what? Do some searching. You know, and I would never go online and pick somebody and do online with them. I would make sure that they have, you know, I'd see their address, and then I'd go on Google Maps and I'd look up that address to see where that address actually is. Is that really a building that's got this company's name on the front of it? Do they really exist that way? You know, call them, you know, look at all the remarks underneath as well. So let me see how much further we get here. How to report. If you have lost money, then call the police department and we'll conduct an investigation into your fraud or your scam. If you have not suffered a loss, you need to go to the www, the Anti-Fraud Center. So the Canadian Anti-Fraud Center, what they do is they're kind of like the cornerstone of all of this information. So when we do fraud investigations, and we come up with names or phone numbers or company names, we report them to the Canadian Anti-Fraud Center. Because if I do that, and Waterloo Police do that, and Halton Police do that, and Niagara Police do that, then they now have a really good bit of information as to what's really going on out there. Because in Hamilton here, I'm just kind of siloed. I don't know what's going on in the other regions. So the Canadian Anti-Fraud Center, they're the ones that kind of take all that information, put all the pieces to that puzzle together, and then go after people and companies who are doing these frauds and scams. They will shut down phone numbers. They will shut down websites. They will be able to do that to, you know, so you can help someone else not being scammed as well. Gather your thoughts and report it. Receipt statement, any paper information that you can, you know, we want that, or they will want that as well. If it deals with your credit cards, you may need to cancel your credit cards. You may need to call your bank or go into your bank and say, hey, you know what, I've got this problem. You may have to change your account numbers if you have given out that to the person. If you've given out your credit card number, change your credit card. It's pretty easy to do. They will, if you need to change standing orders like money that's deposited into your account or payments that you automatically make, they'll give you all the paperwork to fill in to send off. I know it's a little daunting, but it's not good to have an account where you've given that account number to somebody and now you know, they have it. Definitely call your bank to report if there is any financial misuse on your card, or if you have given your information out to somebody. Contact Equifax and TransUnion. So they kind of keep all of like your credit information, and they'll be able to help you with reporting and kind of keeping everything straight and on the narrow. Final tip. So the big thing about frauds and scams, the red flags that you need to look out for. If you receive a call from a stranger, somebody that you don't know, there is a problem that you did not know about. It is urgent. You need to do something immediately to fix the problem. And the fix for that problem is by giving away your hard money. Then you know that it is a fraud or a scam. And if it's dealing with a member of your family, hang up that phone, contact the member of your family, and find out if they're okay. I had a gentleman come into the station that he got the grandparent scam of his son had been in an accident. The people had to leave the country. He needed to fork out money to get his son out of jail and to pay these people off. And he couldn't get a hold of his son. He called him, couldn't get an answer. His son worked for a company where he was kind of like a high up, and he was in like this big board meeting. So you know what? I ended up calling the company. I asked them to get the gentleman out of the board meeting, and they did that. And you know what? Dad and son were reunited, and you know what? Everything was fine. Okay? So they will try to get you upset and get you emotionally involved right from the beginning. Stay calm, big breath. Say, you know what? I remember what Andrea told me about somebody calling me about a big problem that I don't know, and now they're getting me upset. So, so those are all the red flags. So if any of those come up in these phone calls that you do receive, there is no problem just hanging up the phone. Because the longer you talk to them, the more information you give them, and then realize, oh my God, maybe I am being scammed, and then want to hang up, you may get further calls because they almost had you on the hook, so maybe they're going to try again. Okay, so just be careful with that. I don't know if you guys saw me at my booth earlier. I have this book here called Beware, Take Care. Most of the things I talked about in this presentation are in this book, plus a lot of other information. I brought the extras that I have. They're up here at the front table, and Vanna there is showing off the book for you. So if you want to come up afterwards and pick up a copy, if there is something that maybe it's like, oh, maybe I need to speak to the police about something. I thought our numbers were here. There's, on the inside cover is our administrative phone number, 905-546-4925. And on page 2, there's the numbers for the different senior support officers. So there's Central, there's the East End, which is everything east of Sherman Avenue and Stony Creek, and then there's the Mountain, which is everything Mountain proper, and all the way from Waterdown all the way over to Binbrook. So there's the specific numbers for the officers there. So if you do need to call us, please do. I love to sit at my desk, pour myself a tea, and have lovely chats with people who call me. So if there's anything that we can do to help, we certainly will. Thank you very much.
Does anyone have any specific questions for Constable McLaughlin? Oh, okay.
Hi there. What about when you get the phone calls and when you call back to that number, it's some person that's never made that phone call and it's like they're piggybacking on another number and you never know, you can block thousands of them and all you end up doing is blocking people that have never, made the phone call. The scammers are using it.
It's hard to block all these numbers because every time you get called, it's by somebody different. So I would just suggest, if it's somebody that you know or somebody that wants to get a hold of you, they'll call you back. So I wouldn't even bother calling back unknown. Like I wouldn't call back an unknown number, but I will leave that up to your judgment. Any other questions? Yes.
I wore running shoes for this specifically. Do you want me to do it for you?
Oh,
or you got?
I don't care.
I can do it.
Mine's just a story. So one Sunday I got a call and they said they were security from a credit card company and they wanted me to give them numbers on my credit card. And I said, no. I said, I won't. And he said, okay. He says, you call them back in the morning then. It was because somebody was trying to charge something. It was $500, and it was unusual for me, and so that's why they had called me, but I wouldn't give them the number. And he just said, you call the credit card number on the back of your card tomorrow morning, and I did, and it was honest. They were who they said they were.
Sorry, just another comment on if you do get online for if you do get the call saying that a charge was put on your account and they want to reimburse you, and you allow them, you go online and you open your account, and they end up getting, there's a way that they can come on and kind of take over your computer, gain access. Two things will happen. Is one, they will say, okay, I'm going to reimburse you. It was like, the problem was $500, and then you'll see in your account will be a deposit of $1,000. And then they'll go, oh my God, I gave you $500 too much. You need to get that money back to me. But if my boss is now, you've been talking to them for a couple of minutes and they're your best friend, so you're going to feel bad. They're going to make you feel bad that they're going to lose their job if you don't reimburse them that $500. But they can't just take the money back, because then there's, you know, a trail of it, and the boss is going to find out that they made a mistake. So now you need to go to the post office or go to Western Union, and you need to send them that $500 back. And then there'll be a problem with that, then you'll have to send another $500. But what's actually happened is they have gone into your savings account, and they have transferred that $1,000 into your checking account. So you see $1,000 land in your checking account, it's come from another account of yours. They make it look like they made the deposit, but it's their own money they're moving around. So very, very. Anyone else?
People, if you get phone calls and it has a V in front of it, don't answer it.
There's a V in front of the number on your call display. Don't even bother.
If there's a V, don't bother.
Yeah, because it's a scam. They're always scams with the V's. They're likely coming from out of country as well. I don't know if the V means out of country, or I think that's more what it's related to. So just, yeah, if there's a V in front of it, don't bother. Don't bother. They're speaking Asian? Like a different language? Yeah, you know, just hang up. As I said, they're just random phone numbers being called, and they're hoping to get a certain person, and it may or may not be you that they're looking for. Okay, if you do have any other questions that are private, you know, call one of the numbers from the book there. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, no problem. Thanks so much, Andrea. So there are the booklet that Andrea mentioned. They're up here if you're interested in taking one. Oh, okay. Kelly will hand them out. If you put your hand out, Kelly, because she runs like the wind, she will hand them out to you. In the meantime, okay. Okay, once Kelly's done that, then we're going to start the draw, because I need her assistance. Ladies right here. No, it's definitely, yeah. Okay, got it? Okay. She runs faster than me. She's 10 years younger than me. Only got a few left. That's good. Yeah, that's good. Oh, okay. There's just a few more left, so. Kelly, yeah, she'll run like the wind, that one. Oh, here, I'll run it. Just a couple of them there. There you go.
These people are always calling me.
Oh, dear. Well, you seem to be, like, good with knowing, though, right? Yeah, they're rude. Yeah, they're rude. Okay. The time has come, Kel. Okay. Yeah, we're just going to hand them whatever. Okay, so the first number is for number 613047. 613047. Yes, no, maybe? 613047. Okay, we'll try another one. 613001. 613001. Okay, hopefully not 3 strikes. 613202. 613202.
This is good. Our odds are getting better.
613074. 613074. Okay, this is it. I know it. 613171. Okay. 613171. No. Okay, Kel, what do you think?
We got all night.
613072. Oh, yay! Cal, there's a plant on the end of the table there. Okay? Next one. 613046. 613046. Oh. 613101. 613101. 613193. Yay! Six 13019. Oh, we're batting better now. Okay. Oh, you don't have to go to the gym tonight. 613110. 613110. Okay. Oh, I got a whole one here, so that's no good. 613081. 613081. 613020. The lucky corner. Okay. 613148. 613148. 613136. 613136. Oh, yay. 613145. 613145. 613042.
You want this one. I don't know if anyone's looked outside, but this umbrella is going to come in handy.
613042. No. 613180. 613188. 613188. 613-151. 613-151. No. Oh, it's not. 613-073. Yay! 613-206. 206. 613-021. 021. 613-114. Oh, yay. 613-189. 189. 613-094. 094. 613-026. 026. 613-201. 20, okay. 613-025. 025. You on it, Kel? I'm exhausted. Thank you. Oh, you're okay. Excellent.
So I get the umbrella.
Yeah, people will be fighting you for it. 613-159. 159. 613-166. 166. 613-197. 197. 613-029. 029. 613-139. 139? This lady right here. 613-158. 158. Oh, this lady right here. 613-076. 076. 613-105. 105. 105. 185. 185. No. Yeah. 062. Last three numbers, 062. Oh, wow. 143. Yay! That's it. That's all, folks. Have a great evening. Have a great June, being Seniors Month. We'll see you next year.